Well, welcome to Eye on Business. I'm Christine Danilow from Luzerne County Community College. My co-host is Stan Zygmunt from the University of Scranton. And our guests today are Robert Watts, Vice President of Northeast Pennsylvania Technology Institute, and Scott Carey, who is the winner of the Great Valley Business Plan Competition from Breaker Boy Drums. Welcome, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Could you tell us, Robert, a little about what the Great Valley Business Plan Competition is about?
Absolutely. We just completed our 7th year of the Great Valley Technology Business Plan Competition, and how this competition came about. The Great Valley Technology Alliance, which is a consortium of 50 business professionals that serve on our board from across the region. It's a regional entity that was put together in response to a 1999 study done by the Patel Memorial Institute in regards to a technology-based economic development model to encourage this entrepreneurial atmosphere, and also to get local college students to stay. You know, there's a lot of talk about the brain drain lately, and how it's vexed our area for the last few decades, 5 decades. And this strategy is to leverage the resources that are inherent to our area at our economic development institutions, and most specifically our institutions of higher education. The medical school is our 14th institution of higher education that's been added this year. It's just a fantastic benefit for our area, but we have 13 regional institutions, and we bring them under one roof in the Northeastern Pennsylvania Technology Institute to focus on creating an entrepreneurial culture. And we put this program together. Chris Herron, who's my boss, and he put this program together to build a mechanism to tap into that entrepreneurial spirit that does exist in Northeastern Pennsylvania. We put it on a big stage like we did at Mohegan Sun this year. We put a lot of great professionals around them to make sure they're getting the help they need, the support they need. And we have some very kind sponsors that put money on the table each and every year. We raise over $100,000 every year in cash and prizes. And when teams like Scott Carey from King's College at Breaker Boy Drums, working with his faculty mentor, they take this from the classroom, go through our help sessions, go through all the support that we give them, and end up at Mohegan Sun for the announcement of who won this year and what they get going forward. And Scott Carey did it from Breaker Boy Drums this year, and just a fantastic student, is a fantastic student that really poured his heart and soul into this program, had great support around him at his faculty level, but also professionals from around the region. Bill Sardoni from Sardoni Construction and Jeff Garrigo from PNC Bank were our chair people this year. And we think we really made some great upgrades to this competition this year and put some robust help on the judging department. And it's a regional event, which is important. It highlights the great students that we have, and it taps into those people that have been there and done that. So we had 3 teams that won this year, and I think we'll see 4 to 5 teams that are going to incorporate and form businesses in these incubators throughout the region, which is critically important to addressing that brain drain problem that's been vexing us. If they start their own business, create high-end opportunities, and we have some great success stories so far.
So the business plan competition, it's groups of college students with a mentor, and they have to develop a whole plan and go before, I guess, a series of judges to make it to the final round. And can you tell us a little bit about the steps that they have to go through, and also what they're actually competing for?
Sure.
I mean, this is for real money.
This is for real cash and services. How we really launched this is we're in the classrooms at all these universities in the fall talking to every type of student. It's not just the business, engineering, and IST students that compete. We have some of the most successful entrepreneurs around here, of Danielle Fleming of Danielle and Company, or Chris Jones of Pepper Jam. They're psychology majors. So we know that there's talent each and every student of all types. So we're in their classrooms, we're working with their faculty to encourage this participation. Then a first big step is the Entrepreneurship Institute, which is a 2-day program that we offer. It was at the University of Scranton this year. We bring in Jeff Babin from the Wharton School of Business, and we walk them through writing a business plan. And the steps involved with incorporating and your market segmentation and how you're going to attack the market and what resources you're going to need. So they get a full weekend at this Entrepreneurship Institute. 2 weeks later, they come back and we judge a 3 to 5 page business plan for potential. And that's a feeder system for our business plan competition. That ends in typically late January, early February. business plan competition starts right after then. You have to enter your plan. Say, just let us know that you're on the radar. We'll put on help sessions in Lackawanna, Luzerne counties for both sets of teams. They can come on their own or with their faculty advisors, seasoned professionals in front of them. So there's 3 to 4 of those we do every year. And the commitment we got from the local business community this year was fantastic. CFOs, VPs were there working face-to-face with these students, which is a fantastic commitment on their part, because it's a lot of time and energy, and some of them are running Frontier Communications or Penn Miller CFO. So these are real deal guys. And the judging we'll judge virtually. They submit their business plan. We give them the template beforehand and say, here's what you're going to be judged on. We have our judges submit their scores. They rank them. The top 5 to 6 teams this year, we had 6 because the judging was close. They'll come in and do a venture presentation, which is 10-minute presentation to our panel of judges. They'll have 10 minutes of question and answer. So they use PowerPoint, they use audiovisual. Scott brought in some drums. And so this is what somebody's going through if they're raising venture capital, if they're raising angel investment. So they're getting a real process. And we do the surprise announcement at Mohegan Sun, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place. And when they win, we have great commitment from our economic development partners, the Scranton Chamber of Commerce, the Wilkes-Barre Chamber of Commerce, Hazleton Chamber of Commerce, Twin Stacks. We put all these programs together, and the real deal package is $20,000 in cash, a year in the incubator for free, which is all your telephone, your electricity, your parking, your copier, your printer, everything that would be a tremendous amount of overhead is free. So we're drastically reducing their learning curve and their expenses. They have great attorneys from Rosen Jenkins Greenwald that offer their assistance, accountants that offer their assistance. So for the first year, everything's in place. So they have that whole infrastructure they're going to need to be successful. And Scott's the first place package is a $50,000 package of everything. So if you need a logo, a website, Blackout Design, which won our placed 2nd place in our first competition. They have 8 employees. They're doing national work. They brand. They help you with your website. So it's a really strong package that they win.
I think we need to hear from the winner.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little about your company and about how you got started, and do you have a love of drums or whatever?
Well, Breaker Boy Drums pretty much started 10 years ago when I started playing the drums. The high school I went to, our drums were like duct taped together. They were really horrible, actually. And so I just started repairing the drums in my high school. I started getting a feel for how they were put together, how they were built. And then once I graduated, it was all right, well, I have no more drums to repair. I might as well build myself a snare drum. See, I could do it. And I went ahead and did that with my grandmother in her basement. And it came out pretty nice. And I was like, well, you know what? I think I could do more of this and actually start selling these to my friends. And so then I didn't really do it for a little bit. I kind of did it in my basement, didn't really pursue a business with it. It was just kind of something in the back of my mind. And then I took a class, MSB 480 at King's College, and my professor, Dr. Vyas, she said, hey, we're doing a business plan competition at King's. Why don't you enter into it? And I was thinking of what kind of business am I going to do? And then I was like, I'm just going to stick to the basics. I'm going to do what I know. I'm going to do what I love. And I'm going to do what I'm passionate about. And that was building custom drums and playing the drums. So I entered the competition. It's kind of a dark horse. I didn't really talk in the class. I was kind of in the back. And then all of a sudden, I won the competition at King's, and she was like, hey, there's more competitions outside of school. I'll give you some information about it. I was like, definitely, sign me up. So I went to the Entrepreneurship Institute, and I took 2nd place there. And then I just went on and went to all the help sessions and everything like that. But basically, Breaker Boy Drums and Percussion is custom drum company.
Right. Explain the drums
okay.
and tell us what you do or how you do them.
Okay. I take shells. They're either maple, birch, or acrylic for now. I haven't really gotten in the drum molding process yet, but that's kind of on the back burner. I want to actually make my own shells and
well, you've got a year to kind of
experiment with different plies and stuff like that. But basically, all my finishes are custom. Like the custom glass glitter you're seeing right here is a wrap that was made specifically just for Breaker Boy Drums and Percussion. No other company has made the glass glitter like this. There's actual glass chunks in there. It was crushed glass, and they put it into a laminate, and they wrapped it for me. And then the lugs are also custom. And I'm also I'm working on. I rapid prototype the lug. So if you want, let's say, a keystone-shaped lug or a heart-shaped lug or any type of shape, I could actually rapid prototype it and it'll print it out in like 3 hours, and then I could take it to a machine shop and be like, hey, can you make this for me? Rather than going to a machine shop, I want a keystone shaped lug. It'll take a few weeks just to even get a prototype made.
Do people do this? Do other drum companies do that, or is this unique to you?
This is unique to Breaker Boy Drums and Percussion. The other custom companies focus primarily on finishing the shells, where Breaker Boy focuses on the shells and doing the custom hardware. And we also powder coat our hardware. We could, you could have like a neon green or a neon, any color you want for the hardware. This is a standard chrome. It's pretty much the standard with all the drum companies. But you know, you want black, you want gold, you want anything. Possibilities are endless. You could have anything done to your kit.
And how did you come up with that idea? Was it because you were experimenting, or had you seen something that you said, oh, this was a great idea? Or
well, the custom lug idea came up to me when I was like, well, there's all these lugs, like my suppliers, they have like standard lugs, and all the other companies use the same lugs, and I'm like, well, you know, I want my own lug for my own company. So I started thinking of a lug to really showcase my company, and then I was like, well, I'm from Pennsylvania, my company's named Breaker Boy, let's have a keystone shaped lug. So I started to go through that process, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have my own custom lugs. And then I was like, wait, I could offer this to my customers too. I don't want to just like limit them to the keystone lug.
Right.
So then I started to get into that. And then my uncle, he's at Wilkes University in the engineering department, told me about this rapid prototyping process. I started to research that, and that's how I came up with the using the prototyping and machining for the lugs.
Higher education institutions are good places to be at,
Yes.
since both Stan and I are at higher education institutions.
Yes.
How great! So, what other plans do you? What plans do you see, or is it going to be all custom, or is it just custom that you do right now?
Well,
or?
for now, it's just custom, and that will be under the Breaker Boy Drums and Percussion name. Future plans, I would like to go into mass production, but that won't be under the Breaker Boy name. I'll pick another name to go under with that, because Breaker Boy is exclusively custom drum sets. Everything's made from hand in the same shop. Nothing's, you know.
And did your grandmother help you with everything too? Now?
Not this kit. No, this kit was done with me in my basement. My father also helps me out with that, setting up the drill presses, and just he offers a lot of direction, and it keeps me focused and stuff like
What
that.
did you find most interesting about the competition? Like, what kind of stretched you, or you said, oh, I never thought about that, or something that you said?
Well,
you know, when you had to answer, when you looked at the business plan and you said, oh, I have to do that, I didn't realize that, or the advice that somebody may have given you.
When I originally wrote this business plan, I put in like that I would have kiosks and music stores, and I went really huge. I was like, oh, we're going to be in all the major retail out. And then I was like, you know, there's a lot that goes into that. I was like, this is custom. I want customers to come to me. It's not really custom if you go to a kiosk and you pick it out and you don't really have that interaction with the company. So I dropped that whole aspect because it doesn't really fit in line with my company mission or my philosophy. And the the vice president now of Solid Cactus told me that, hey, you know, you're doing a custom company. You want to stick custom people coming to you rather than going to a machine and putting it in what they want. And then also, there was a design program that I was thinking about, but I didn't really know how to get into that whole thing. And then just talking to a bunch of the people that were at the help sessions, and just my father, and like just networking with all the people that were available for me really helped me out figure out what kind of platform the program needs to be written on, how I go about doing it, what it should look like. It really helped me bring everything in focus rather than just scattering in my head like, oh, these are ideas, how do I focus them? So it really helped me focus my mission and my philosophy.
And Rob, the help that he's gotten from all the help sessions, do you see like businesses, students and faculty members becoming more focused so they can actually be successful? I know you have several successful stories from previous winners.
Could you repeat your question again?
Yeah.
So I got a little interrupted with somebody walking.
We happen to be at the mall at Steamtown.
Yeah, the Mall of Steamtowns are sponsors, so it's open. We, for the students and the faculty members who have worked together, I mean, they work closely together to develop the plan, but once they go before the professionals, Scott mentioned that he was able to hone his plan better, focus more, think it through a little differently. I'm sure that contributes to the business success, because I know you've mentioned, several businesses who have gone on to actually be very successful after winning or even not winning the competition and just opening. Do you think that helps them develop the plan so they can be more successful.
Without a doubt. I mean, without the contributions that faculty members makes, or Frank Gilmartin at the University of Scranton, this wouldn't happen. I can assure you, because students wouldn't hear about it. So without their commitment to bringing the students to this competition and really getting them, their appetite whet to compete. Scott talked when he thanked everybody at his speech. One of the people he thanked first, his family gave a huge commitment, was Dr. Vyas at the University of King's College. I'm sorry, at King's College. And,
that's okay. No,
yeah.
I can't.
And like they put in 6 months, 8 months of work on this together, and she came to help sessions. Her commitment was fantastic, and I think that academic success, it really, the program when he wrote it was very academic and perfect on what he dreamed a big dream and then he went after it. But the professionals that we put in front of him were people that have been there and done that. The hardcore numbers guys, the cash flow. We had, cash is king in these businesses, and I think these professionals help them realize the reality of what they're going to see as soon as they open the doors on their building. And you turn the lights on after this competition's over and money starts leaving your company. So these are the guys that help bring it back in. And, and Scott talked about he had a huge plan. And somebody said, can you realistically do this, Scott? What hours do you have? What capability? Let's look at your resources and how we're going to allocate your time and energy. And is it true to your focus? And I think Scott's a great example of somebody that really listened. That really listened and was committed to the help sessions and took advantage of everything that King's had to offer, but Wilkes University, where his uncle is an engineering professor, one of the things that I want to highlight here is that there's so many capabilities at our universities, at our institutions of higher education, not just for students, but for businesses. There's vast resources that we have to do a better job of tapping into. Silicon Valley is what made that place famous, and Austin, UT Austin, where Dell. You can't tell where the university stops and where Dell starts. So they do a great job of saying there's so much talent there in our faculty, in our students, and they leverage that to become a more competitive business. So I think I just wanted to make sure we highlight that. But these professionals that come in and give up their time, they're very busy people, and they have an excruciating eye for detail. And I think without them, the success rate would be drastically less without their commitment to this program. Our Great Valley Technology Alliance board members do a great job of helping and being here for students like Scott.
Well, and as you said, one of the good things about the consortiums that they have of the higher education institutions is that they work together and they try to foster this kind of competition and other programs throughout the Northeast PA, just to make sure that the students as well as the community and the residents have opportunities. And it is, I happen to be in continuing education, and it's always amazing when we make presentations, people say, we didn't know you offered that here, and I know that they get the same thing at the University of Scranton, is, oh, I had to go someplace else for this, I thought, and so it's really, really interesting. There's a lot of opportunities in this area. You just have to search them out a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Somebody doesn't knock at your door, you have to knock at theirs, and so I think probably Scott found that out too, so you got some, right? It's a lot of being persistent and focused,
Perseverance.
right? Perseverance.
Like just never stopping. You have an idea, keep going with it. And that's basically what I found. I had this idea for 10 years just to repair drums, but I never really said, hey, I do this. And then I started to talk about it more. I started telling people what I do, and people started getting interested, and they started offering me advice when I didn't even ask for it. It was just hey, I'm having a conversation. And then they would tell me what was cool, what wasn't cool, that type of thing. And just really getting out there and networking with people, and just contacting my uncle, contacting people my father knows. I mean, Rob here, he always sends me messages, contact this guy, he could help you out, contact this girl, or that type of thing. And it really helps me out. You think, oh, well, I don't know this guy, how is he going to help me out? And then you contact them, and then they offer you a lot of advice, and they really could help change a lot of things for you.
People are very good when you ask for help.
Exactly.
And we sometimes are fearful of doing that, but it's what makes a lot of the companies successful. I'm sure a lot of the people who you spoke to on the committee said, some guy helped me or some woman gave me some advice and I followed through and what have you. So where do we go from here?
Well, I'm gonna continue to build drums, repair drums. Hopefully get out of my basement, could actually get into a manufacturing facility, and then open up a shop where people could actually come in, view the drums, play the drums, and not only could they play the drums, but they could also, buy the drum heads. I just became a dealer for Evans Drum Heads, and I'm working on some cymbal companies and get people in, and they could actually play the drums and just interact with us, and they could even, come to the shop and be like, hey, I want this, what can you do, and just see how see how things work at Breaker Boy Drums. We're not like all the way back in it. We're not going to put ourselves in a corner and say, hey, don't come see us. We're actually going to, let customers in and work with us, because it's their custom kit.
Where are you going to be located? Could you give people, if they're interested in your drums, how can they reach you and stuff like that?
Oh, okay. Well, currently right now, it's in my basement, so they could either go on my website, which is breakerboydrums.com, and they could email me at sdcarey@breakerboydrums.com. Once I can get out of the basement, they'll be able to come see me, but I'm still working some things out, figuring out where I'm going to be at, and then once I find that out, it'll be on my website, and they'll be able to find that out. So.
Do you have a space in one of the incubators, or?
He's deciding where he wants to be. He's got several offers on what incubator he wants to be in. I think he's going through what's going to work best. He's from Wilkes-Barre, but the interesting thing about this year's competition was our judging got a little backed up, and the teams that were spaced a half hour apart all got clustered together. And it happened almost by accident, but it was perfect. They ended up actually being friends and collaborating and working together. And so the first through third place teams, they've been meeting, Brave Gamer, who I spoke to you about before, is a team from Penn State Worthington, and Jim Walker went to Keystone College. And these students are helping Scott with his information technology space, his web work, and it's been fantastic. The team from the University of Scranton, Cognition Media, has been working with, at least collaborating with Brave Gamer, so ensuring that they're all going to be successful. So it really is, to stop a brain drain and create an entrepreneurial culture, it needs to be a regional effort. We need to look at the scarce resources that we have available and put them, in a dense area to bounce ideas off each other, and I think that's what's great about our incubators. I think it's just a fantastic program, and we're seeing real success. And I think this year, with teams like Scott or Cognition Media or Brave Gamer, we're going to see even bigger and better things. Continue to see more blackout designs. They're doing fantastic work, and 11 Moons, which is a team from Marywood. A student came from Bulgaria, won our business plan competition several years back, and now revamped their business model, and now they have a web presence, a portal for wedding planning. And with the economy and the shape it's in, even more advantageous of a market for him, because it's definitely offers savings to brides-to-be, and he's launched from Maine to Tennessee to Michigan, so it's fantastic.
Can you just mention briefly the second and third place teams, what they were, and just briefly what their business model is?
Sure. Brave Gamer is they offer help to people that want to build collaborative gaming space online. So they offer web tutorials, they offer hosting. So if you're a kid that you're 12 years old and you want to program, they have webinars, or they can collaborate with you online and teach you how to code to build these games. And at first when I read this business model, I said, I know these are smart kids, and I'm not sure this business model is. I said, I don't really understand it completely in totality. Well, they have 40 worlds that are built, 40 games that are being built, and people are playing right now. And I saw a speaker from the University of Michigan who works with Apple and IBM and on innovation, and he talked about business models, and it went on like a light in my head when the only people that take market share from Google is Mozilla Firefox, a bunch of kids in Stanford that think everything should be free, and that's what this business model is. They're everything for free. So they have 40 worlds, but if you want, there's a transaction that happens in any one of these worlds. It goes through Brave Gamer's bank, and it's really an ingenious model. So they're giving stuff away, but if you want to go to the bank in any one of those 40 worlds, you're going to Brave Gamer's bank.
It's like PayPal concept.
Yeah, it's a transactional fee, and if you want to build a game there, you agree to these terms up front. And great model. That's the second place team from Penn State Worthington. The third place team is from the University of Scranton, Cognition Media, serial entrepreneur, and she, Kristen Saeed. Her and her sister won third place last year, and she went to a private school, Catholic school out by West Point, New York, came to the University of Scranton, and with a peer of hers from high school, they were asked to design a website for their high school, and they've ended up building a content management system so parents could see what their kids are having for lunch, or what their child studied in class, and what their homework is. So it's a whole easy to use content management system. And it went so well that other schools said, well, we'd like to buy one of these. And now they're off and running and designing content management systems for high schools, and they're have an aggressive sales approach. They have a great core of students, 2 programmers, and it's just really a strong team. But at our business plan competition, we wanted to make this a big stage, a big event, bold. We had Mohegan Sun. Everybody, we had a turnaway crowd this year, which was fantastic,
That's
in
great.
this economy. And
So if somebody's interested in the competition for the future, what do they do?
GreatValleyAlliance.com is our website, and that if you want some source information, you can contact me through the website. And you have to be a student in one of our 14 institutions of higher education, graduate or undergraduate. So the first step is working with faculty at your school. That's the first step. Enroll in the Entrepreneurship Institute, which is totally free. Which is other areas charge $100 a student to go through a program like the Entrepreneurship Institute, and we offer it for free to our region students. So those are the first steps. And then next year at this time, we'll be standing here hopefully with 3 more teams. Scott will be very, very successful. And so the first step is working with your faculty at your university.
Okay, and so that they should start thinking about it now for the future, because it seems like the competition is getting stiffer and stiffer and stiffer.
I think that shows the progress we've made. And we're talking about entrepreneurism now, and when this is 10 years ago that Austin Burke at the Chamber and the gentleman at the Wilkes-Barre Chamber and Hazleton Chamber came together and said, technology is an issue and we need to really address it. And we have great clusters of businesses around here, but they all can use technology. And Scott, it looks like a custom business, and I think his novel use of technology of letting a customer and say in Utah hear the difference in the combination of wood and metal. And he recorded that, and they can hear these different combinations before they purchase through his website. And it's a fantastic use. And he adapted that use of technology after coming to our our help sessions.
Right.
People said, "Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this?" And these are past winners. The 11 Moons, the Blackout designs that really people that walked before them and said, "Think about this." And even the people that he competed against collaborated with him to improve his business model. So it is getting stiffer, but as it gets better and better, even the teams that didn't win this year, we're going to see a team that didn't get to present, incorporate and get incubator space donated by the woman, the woman who owns the incubator, and donated space for them for a year because she was a judge and read their business plan and loved it. And even though the other judges didn't agree with her, she wants to see them carry this on. So contacted them, said, "I have space for you. How can I help you?" Very successful woman, entrepreneur, made several $1 million that wants to not only help them but serve as an advisor. And I think that's the most impressive thing is these professionals have served as advisors. That's why the competition has gotten better, because all the people that are around us have contributed. And it's made us stronger. And this benefits everybody, not just Scott Carey or Robert Watts or the Great Valley Technology Alliance. This is great jobs, creating an entrepreneurial culture. So somebody that ends up working with Scott Carey in the future, we're stopping the brain drain because there are high-end opportunities here. Jack Greer went through the competition, has 8 employees over there. And everybody benefits that. Grandparents, their grandchildren don't have to leave to go to greener pastures.
If you think of Microsoft as the prime example, a person got together, 2 people got together, and then it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
And they started in a garage, Scott. So I don't want you to be dissuaded.
Well, it's true, and that's really how was America built. Was from the 1 and 2 people who started employing another, and it just grows.
They're the first people to hire, the last people to have layoffs.
Right.
They're loyal to their area. And we're starting to see nucleuses of these businesses, the e-commerce and IT cluster that's in Wilkes-Barre, Pepper Jam and Solid Cactus, and there's 2 spin-offs from those companies. It's unbelievable. That's in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and Scranton, we're starting to see that, there's a new medical school here, and all the opportunities that exist for biotech clusters and universities. The University of Scranton just made a $72 million, or in and around figure for their science center commitment. So it's starting to, raise the tide, and a rising tide lifts all boats. So.
Well, and they also say that the future, 60% of the jobs of the future, we don't have the technology yet for, and we don't even know what they are because technology keeps, morphing so much, so quickly that even 10 years ago, what we have today wasn't even in existence, some of it. So it's really amazing. We're going to have to wrap up pretty soon. So anything else that you'd like to tell people, how they would get in contact with you?
Sure. You know, I want to thank you both for thinking of us and giving this competition a stage to kind of show the people that in our region what we're doing and you know, on their
I think
behalf.
Stan and I have been fortunate over the years. We've interviewed almost everyone, I think.
You know, I feel really fortunate that I get to see kids, your students like Scott every day and their inspiration and you know, what's
Entrepreneurs.
entrepreneurs. What Scott represents though is he's passionate about drums. You know, he didn't change who he was. Every day he wakes up and goes to do something that he loves. Same thing with Blackout Design. You know, their artist is the quintessential artist, Phil Barkett. He's one of the best in the region, if not the best. And every day he wakes up and he gets to do what he loves in the place that he wants to be. And I think the reason that entrepreneurism and all this is so important is you know, businesses locate where their talent is. So we have to create that talent density, and it's the onesies and twosies, it's the small businesses that start here that retain talented students to attract those larger employers to the region. So it's a critical effort, and you know, to get involved, GreatValleyAlliance.com is our website, and all the information, there's a click-through for the business plan competition there, and it'll give you all the information to contact me or contact anybody at our organization to take part in it. And if we need people that will volunteer, you know, that people that are interested in giving back. Sponsorship is always important because this is private dollars that we raise every year. So we've had some great sponsors continuously come back and make this possible. So get involved in any way you can. It's a grassroots effort. You hear so much about this brain drain. What can the government do to fix it? What can economic development groups to fix it? And I think this is, you know, a hands-on way of creating these small businesses by giving back. So it's a grassroots economic development program.
And Scott, any last words?
Yeah,
How about this?
I mean, when I started this whole thing, I was, you know, thinking of all these crazy ideas, like how am I going to compete at King's for a business plan, yada, yada, yada. And then I was like, stick to the basics, stick to what I'm passionate about. You know, the drums have been around for thousands of years, and, you know, I'm still, and then, you know, I found this is what I'm passionate about, and I made it, and I adapted it to technology and today and what's going on. So you might think that there is not something that you could do with what you're passionate about, but there is definitely, you know, a change that could be made to what you're doing. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for something better.
Right.
So, you know, stick to what you're passionate about. Stick to what what you've known for your whole life, and I think you'll be a success.
And so if people want to reach you?
Oh, www.breakerboydrums.com.
Well, thank you. So we'd like to thank our two guests today. It's Robert Watts, Vice President of Northeast Pennsylvania Technology Institute, and they run the Great Valley Technology Competition, and Scott Carey, who is from King's College, and from Breaker Boy Drums. And my co-host is Stan Zigmund from the University of Scranton, and I'm Christine Donalow from Luzerne County Community College, and this was Eye on Business.